This is the perfect RIA, in case you didn't know. Bringing you all the strategies to help your business grow. Are you happy? Are you satisfied? Are you hanging on the edge of your seat? Sit back and listen in while you feel the beat, yeah. Another myth bites the dust.
Hello, TPR Nation. This is Amber Kuhn. Thank you for joining me on today's Follow-Up Friday, where I'll be recapping this week's episodes. On Monday, Matt and Micah kicked off their episode with the fact that advisors have to be in the mindset, no matter what your situation, of being a business owner. You have to look at things from a business perspective. As your practice evolves, you need to go from what typically happens with most advisors who are starting out, where you're providing service to anyone at any dollar amount. And as your practice improves, your service improves, and therefore it changes the clients that you're working with. This isn't about kicking clients to the curb, but it is about where you do your best work. The guys talked about some head trash with this, and the idea that as you improve, that then you would be doing a disservice to your clients by keeping them on instead of moving them to another advisor. But this is really your ego getting in the way. Sometimes you outgrow clients, and sometimes the things your clients do don't line up with your core beliefs. Matt said this is the point that others will typically tell you that you need to segment your clients and set up different service levels and fees. But as the guys have shared before, this hasn't worked in their practice or the practices of the advisors that they coach. And one of the issues they see for advisors trying to do this is that you end up justifying how much or how little value you're delivering to your clients based on what they're paying. But in a client's mind, they are getting your best service. Matt and Micah recommended that you pull a list of your clients, list them all out, include the revenue they're generating, their net worth or assets under management, take their names off, and then look to see who is running your practice and who's getting a free ride. From there, you can set up your red, yellow, and green levels. To do that, first consider what does your ideal practice look like and what your average client revenue needs to be. This then sets up your benchmark, and anyone who falls below that isn't a good fit for your practice. Now, for that group, Mike recommends an opportunity to upgrade or graduate. So with clients who fit his first two Ps, personal and productive, and then they aren't hitting that third P, profitable, he'll offer a fee that they can pay to hit that minimum. And then that becomes the client's choice as to whether they move forward with it or not. He said it's your job as the advisor to show the value you're going to provide, and it's the client's job to decide if they're going to pay for that. They cautioned that when you go through this and create this list, no matter what, there's going to be head trash that comes from it. It's a challenge, but no matter what, they've been glad they've done the graduations and upgrades, and they hear the same from advisors they've coached in this as well. But what they do run into is advisors saying that they'll take care of this at some later point. But those goalposts keep moving, so realize that later will never come. Instead, you need to take action and create a plan now. They do recommend that you stage this over a period of time. So you need to have those dates and get your team involved as well. And with your team, you want to position what you're doing in the same way that you'll be explaining it to a client, because you want your team on board with the changes. Matt and Micah caution doing this exercise on your own. So this is a great thing to bring someone else in to look at your practice and be objective and have a different perspective. And the best way would be to have someone who's been down this path already, because they know what you're feeling and going through. Let's get into action items. Take your last quarter billing and make your list with your clients, hiding their names, and have the revenue, AUM, and potentially net worth. Now, Micah said if you don't have net worth, then just drop that and then do conditional formatting that has your minimum and ideal revenue, and then color code that. Once you've done this, make this year one of upgrading and graduating. On Thursday, Jamie was talking about how you receive criticism and how you become resilient, and when is it appropriate to punch back or take criticism. Also, it's important to consider how information needs to be delivered related to criticism. Jamie pointed out the anonymity that people feel online and how they'll say things there that they wouldn't say to someone's face. And that the higher you climb in your professional career and the more successful you become, the more vulnerable you become to criticism. So what inspired this episode was a review that Jamie came across for the Perfect RA podcast. And if you haven't, be sure to visit our show on Apple Podcasts to check out the review that she was referring to. With as interesting as the title of this comment was, again, you'll need to check out the review, and we have our podcast on Apple linked in the show notes from Thursday. She felt that this review really did come from a good place, and she was trying to take that criticism to heart. There was a compliment at the beginning, and then there were some negative comments. Now, while she wished that the person had emailed instead of posting publicly, she had a choice in how to take this. She could have disregarded the compliment and only focused on the negative aspect. She said she knew how to take a punch, and so she focused instead on the intent. And this is where she said people tend to struggle. Now, about the same time, Jamie came across a post from someone and it didn't sit well with her. And she had to decide if she was right in delivering criticism about it or whether she was just being sensitive and shouldn't comment. Ultimately, she messaged the person privately to offer some constructive feedback, which that person appreciated. Jamie said that just because someone punches you, you don't have to respond publicly with full force. Jamie said that she has had to deliver constructive criticism all the time to team members. Sometimes that criticism is hard to hear, but it needs to be delivered in a way that helps the team grow. The way she recommended starting this is by asking if the team member is in a good headspace and if they can receive and accept criticism constructively. Once she asks, then she listens. If they aren't ready, then she's not going to continue and they'll just reconvene the next day. Now, her tip was to use the word HALT, HALT. Are you hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? And this is important to use with your team or your kids. If any of those things are a yes, then know that nothing productive will come from you offering criticism at that time. But when she offers these truths, she said that it's to help someone become better. So when someone is coming to you with this, you need to have a process for dealing with it. Jamie recommends that if you're really mad, you walk away. Now, she does this herself because she'll fight and step up to that occasion. So she knows that she needs to remove herself from a situation until she's in a place where she can look at her accountability. Jamie said there's a lot of people out there who will tell you who you should be in life, but that's something you have to figure out for yourself. So consider when you see something online, whether you need to fire shots back or whether you need to take a step back and have a conversation to help someone be better. Remember, you have a choice. Let's get into action items. Go into Apple Podcasts and check out the review that Jamie talked about. If you're a keyboard warrior or you're spending more than 30 minutes a day online, you need to look into doing deep focus. So set a time limit for how long you're spending in an app or activity. When you have constructive criticism, make sure you do it privately first. And then use HALT. So hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And make sure that you're in a place that you have constructive dialogue with someone and open up those lines of communication. Before we go, TPR Nation, if you're ready to grow and dramatically impact your life and those around you and you want resources to help, reach out to us at lifestyletheperfectRE.com. And if you're looking for an opportunity to learn in person from Matt and Micah, be sure to join us this September at TPR Live in Arizona. Visit theperfectre.com/live for more information and to save your spot. That wraps up this week's recap. Thank you for joining me, and please share this or any of our episodes with another advisor or team member who you think might benefit from listening. And be sure to subscribe to the Perfect RE podcast so you don't miss an episode. Until next time, happy planning.
Hold on before we go. Something that you need to know. This isn't tax, legal, or investment advice. That isn't our intent. Information designed to change lives. Financial planning can make you thrive. Start today, don't think twice. Be a better husband, father, mother, and wife. The Perfect RIA.